I'd like to call the Iberia Parish Council meeting for December 28, 2016 to order. Official time is 6:05. Please, everybody stand for the prayer. Ms. Brousseau, would you lead us in a prayer?
Lord, we come before you tonight with many thanksgivings. Lord, we thank you for the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ, and the ability that we have in America to have celebrated his birth this past week, Lord. We look forward to the new year, Lord, and we have a lot of hope that we can get good things done for the parish. Lord, we just ask you to be with each and every one of us tonight. Lord, give us the wisdom to make right choices for our parish, Lord. Guide us, Lord. Keep us unified, Lord. We ask all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Napier?
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask this council and this gathering to keep a friend of mine and a friend to all of Generette, Mr. Howard Poche, who had been missing since Christmas Day and who was found today deceased. May he rest in peace with our Lord Jesus Christ.
Please have a moment of silence, please. Thank you, Mr. Napier.
Thank you.
Mr. Duga, you coughing. You want to say the pledge, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk will do the roll call. We do have Mr. J.E. is running late, and Mr. Eugene will be absent. He had a death as a relative in the family. Roll call, please.
Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Jay Davis. Landry.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gossett.
Here.
Nellie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
Ricky Gonsalas.
Here.
Joe Duca.
Here.
Eugene Olivier. Brian Napier.
Here.
Berwick Francis.
Here.
Marty Trahan.
Here.
Chad Matchman.
Here.
Just to remind everyone in attendance tonight, please turn your cell phones off to we don't have any interruptions in our meeting tonight. Moving along, approval of minutes, there are none. Persons to address the council. Representatives of Iberia Parish County Agent's Office to present their annual report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council, and to our guests who are here tonight. My name is Blair Hebert. I'm the county agent for the Louisiana Cooperative Extension Service here in Iberia Parish. I'm also the wear a few hats. If you've seen me at some other meetings throughout the year that you've had, that was because I was in a kind of different role. But tonight, I'm here in my main role as the county agent, and I guess what we call the people who kind of lead the office as the parish chairman, and I serve in that role. I've been here for 19 years, been with Ag Center for 23 and a half, came to Iberia Parish in December of '97. What we're going to try to do tonight is give you our annual report. Hopefully things are a little better with our office and with you guys next year, that we get back to our October timeline, that we're not doing this kind of the last minute, but I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to let you know who we are, what we're about, and what we do. And we'll make this as quickly as possible so you can move on with your business. All of you received a burgundy packet in front of you with our LSU Ag Center logo in front of it. And there's some information in there. Probably one of the main ones you want to look at is the Iberia Parish profile. It tells you a little bit about what we do, if you want to keep that with you. In a nutshell, it's kind of a one-page brief reminder of all the programs that we do. To let you know who the LSU Ag Center is, LSU Ag Center is the part of the LSU Ag Center, at least the Extension Service. You know, there's all the main campuses that LSU has, whether it's LSU Shreveport or Alexandria. There's 3 right there on the main campus with the law school and main campus, and then we're out in all the parishes. There's an extension office in every parish. Iberia Parish is fortunate, in my opinion. There are 3 components of the LSU Ag Center. There's the research side, which we have the Iberia Research Station in Generette. We have the Cooperative Extension Service, which is us. We're located, used to be in the courthouse, and in 14, we moved to the annex building where permits, I think, used to be behind where the health unit used to be. It is where we are now. We've been there for about 2.5 years, and we like it there. We appreciate us being there. And then we have the education component of the Ag Center is the College of Agriculture. So that's the three components. Iberia Parish is very lucky to have two of the three active here in the parish. And to let you know what the Extension Service does, there's three components of the Extension Service. Agriculture and natural resources is probably what we're known for. Most of it just know us as the county agent, but we refer to ourselves as A&R. FCS is Family Consumer Sciences. If you're a little bit older, you remember that as Home Ec. And then I think everybody knows us as 4-H Youth Development or simply 4-H. But what we try to do is take the research-based information that's coming from the professors and the PhDs working in all those different areas and get it out to the public. Your constituents are our clientele. So if you're in Jeanerette, if you're in Laurelville, Delcombe, New Iberia, wherever you are, we reach the entire parish. With the exception of Tom and myself, all of us, and Miss Mandy, only Miss Christie really works Iberia Parish only. The rest of us are multi-parish. If you want to go to the next one, Miss Mandy. To let you know what's going on in agriculture and natural resources, it's that time of the year, December 28th. We have 5 sugar mills on this side of the Teche. We kind of divide the sugarcane growing area into 3 regions. There's about 23 parishes that grow sugarcane. We grow about 400,000 acres of sugarcane in the state, with a good chunk of it being in the Teche area. Iberia Parish still leads the way with 60,000 acres of it. Ricky doesn't do all that by himself. He's just one of the guys. Well, we try to do our usual educational programs that we do. You see here, this is a field day at the research station in Jeanerette, and this was an early morning, and about 5 minutes after we finished our last presentation, we had a downpour. If you look back in the clouds, you can see the rain's coming. But we do field days for sugarcane and soybean and cattle. We're very proud of our Master Cattle program in the Acadiana area. We have over 100 graduates. We're working on our Master Farmer program as well as our Master Gardener. Pretty much right now for Master Gardener, we're doing that in conjunction with the Lafayette Extension Office because that's the closest place we have a horticulture agent to do that. And then Master Horseman, we're very fortunate to have a facility like the Sugarina, and we host events with Acadia, with their facility, with the Vermilion facility, and then here the Sugarina. So we take care of Acadiana that way. Before I get to the next slide, just want to let you know that we should be finished grinding by the first weekend in January. That's the question we get asked most this time of the year. Cajun and Lasuka, the 2 northern mills on this side of the Teche, are closed, but Sterling, M.A. Patu, the Enterprise Mill, and St. Mary are going to run at least to the 3rd and 4th for St. Mary and Sterling, and then probably a few more days to get the big mill done, depending on the weather and the rain. But the crop, of all the crops that we brought into the state this year, it has not been a very good agriculture year for the state of Louisiana. North Louisiana experienced some spring flooding, then we experienced the August flooding, and for whatever reason, sugarcane just a resilient crop, and we have had, it's not the best crop we've ever had, but of all the crops that we've harvested so far, sugarcane's had the least amount of effect. We think it's going to be about a 10 to 15% decline this year, but in some of our other crops like rice and corn, soybeans, those guys took a real big hit. And then, if you had pasture and your cattle were swimming, that was a tough lick for you as a cattleman. I want to thank all of you on the council and the parish president. When we did have the flood, y'all took care of our office. It didn't come into the office unless somebody passed in a car early that morning. It just kind of snuck in a little bit, but the sandbags helped, and then y'all allowed us to go out and do our job. And we know y'all busy trying to take care of y'all constituents and the people of Iberia Parish. Sometimes people are not sure what to do with the large animals and the livestock and the farmers. And if y'all let us go in there, we're working on a plan right now with the folks at Emergency Preparedness, and hopefully we never have to activate another plan, Mr. Larry, but who knows what Mother Nature's going to give us here in the next few years. Pesticide applicators here on the screen, something that we do for recertification. If you are going to put out a ban pesticide in the state, you need to be certified, you need to take a test, and that certification is gonna change. Effective January 1, you will no longer be able to come to the county agent's office and take your test. We'll only be able to recertify you. You're gonna have to go through Louisiana Department of Ag and Forestry, and there's gonna be an additional charge. The fees to get that are gonna go up a little bit, and with the budget situation, I don't think I have to explain much more there. Burn manager certification, I know that's something that comes up every year here with the sugar industry. Sugarcane farmers in general, there is some rules and regulations where agriculture is exempt, and it's not mandatory, but we do ask all of our farmers to become burn manager certified, and I would say 99% of our sugarcane farmers here in the parish do have that certification. We do soil sampling and forage sampling. We no longer do forage sampling at LSU. We send it off to a private lab. We still do soil sampling at LSU, and that is probably the thing that keeps our office as busy as possible. And it's not the cane farmers. It's all the people who have trees and shrubs and gardens at their homes. Insect ID, whenever we have a drought like we did this year or a flood like we have, people start to see things they never saw. We help them with that, and then the list goes on there. Try to move on. We're going to ask Miss Mandy to come up. Our staff consists right now of myself and one 4-H agent and one secretary full-time, and everybody else comes in on a as-needed basis. And we're going to begin with our family and consumer science agent, Miss Mandy Armatora.
Thank you. Good evening. And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about the family and consumer science programs that we do here in the parish. And it's not listed, but obviously hurricane disaster recovery is one of the hats that we do wear. And when the flood did come in August, if people got water in their homes, how do they clean that wet stuff? Is their carpet salvageable or dishes salvageable? So we answer those type of questions. Also food safety questions associated with power outages and natural disasters. So that's not listed, but that is one of our hats that we do. And hopefully we did it in August, and hopefully for a few years we don't have to do it again, knock on wood. But some of our adult programs, we do both adult and youth programming, and one of the first programs that's very important is our Healthy Beginnings for Your Baby program. And this is in conjunction with the Department of Child and Family Services and the Louisiana Works Commission. And what this is a program for parents who are receiving child care assistance benefits. They have to go through a 6-week parenting program. Just kind of the basics of basic parenting and care for their baby, and this is for infants under the age of 1. But we do have some mothers who have several kids, and they've lost their job and trying to return to work and in the workforce. And in order for them to receive those benefits, we have this program that we administer. And the person that's teaching those classes is our newest addition to our staff. Her name is Patrice Cahey, and so she's going to be teaching these programs, and then also she will be doing part of her time low-income nutrition education for both the adults and the youth, but more predominantly in the schools. And because in Iberia Parish all our public schools are under the Community Eligibility Program, which is part of the National School Lunch Program, this means that all students, regardless of income or socioeconomic status, receive free lunch and breakfast in all the parish schools. So she'll be working with those schools, pretty much any parish public school, to provide nutrition education, because we do know that if the kids can influence the parents' behaviors, 9 times out of 10 they'll choose those healthier options, do more exercise, so we can lower our childhood obesity rate. Do you want to say anything? No? Okay. We also do food safety and food preservation classes, and more so it's not classes, but teaching the kids basic food safety, even adults, how not to cross-contaminate when you're cooking, when you're grocery shopping. Don't leave the milk sitting in the trunk of the car during the summer. And then our youth programs, the 6 Easy Bites program is through our 4-H club. This is an after-school program in addition to their regular 4-H activities that they come for 5 classes throughout the year, so every other month, for 1 hour, and they learn something completely hands-on on cooking, nutrition, physical activity. Sometimes it's tied to their 4-H project books that are involve nutrition and cooking, but even most kids who walk in the door not knowing a thing about cooking, by the time they walk out after the end of the school year, they know a little bit of something. They'll tell you Number one, I don't wash dishes, and number two, they have to wash their hands and they learn how to use a knife safely. Our food and nutrition education program is our SNAP Ed program, which is what I explained Ms. Patrice will be doing, but we also teach the adults as well. And it can be anybody. If a school calls and says, I'm having a parent night, we'll come and do something nutrition and hands-on. And then in the summertime, we do something completely a little fun and hands-on, but it's our Kids Chef Summer Nutrition Camp. And usually this is either done over 2 full days or 3 to 4 half days, where the kids come in, we teach them about My Plate, we teach them how to cook healthy recipes, we throw in a few unhealthy things, but just kind of some fun stuff. They do physical activity, they're grouped up, they have to learn teamwork, they're given a junior leader, and they have to learn how to follow a recipe and make the recipe, and using, you know, the ingredients that are there. They have a blast, and this is some of our kids last summer that were doing the segments in the Kid Chef Camp. They were learning about hand washing. That's the first day. We teach them hand washing and how the pretend germs, if you don't wash your hands, what they really look like. And then these kids were making some healthy snacks. They were doing veggie, oven-fried veggie sticks with zucchini and squash. And most of the time, the kids that come to Kid Chef Camp are exposed to foods that they probably have never been offered in their homes or have had. So it teaches them a new and different way and gets them to try new foods. I will now turn our program over to our 4-H agent, Miss Christy Oliver, and she will explain what the year for 4-H has up in store.
Good evening. My name is Christy Oliver. This is my 4th year as a 4-H agent in Iberia Parish and my 5th year with the LSU Ag Center. So our 4-H program is offered to all public schools and parochial schools, and we even have a homeschool clubs here in Iberia Parish. We are very, very proud of our clubs outside of the schools as well. Miss Mandy mentioned our 6 Easy Bites Club. We also have a fabric and fashion club that the 4-Hers can sew, learn how to sew. That's a dying art. I'm sure many of you in here may know that skill. We also, our newest project club is our outdoor skills, our shooting sports. Right now we are in archery, and we are very excited. We are shooting on every other Sunday at Nish. So if you have the opportunity and you see kids out there, stop by and see what our kids are up to. We also still have our livestock program that is very strong, and many people know our program with cows, goats, horses, but we also have a big broiler project. So I think in beginning of January this week, the kids will be picking up their two-day-old baby birds, and they'll be raising that for 48 days. So how many of you, anybody in here was in the broiler project? No? No broiler projects. So other things that we have that we're really proud of, camp. I know Mr. Tommy sometimes brings us to camp, and we're really excited about going to camp this year in July. Throughout the year, there are different camps that the 4-Hers can participate in. Science, engineering, and technology camp, a fashion camp that they go to the state level, 4-H University, which is something that many of us in our office, we train 4-Hers who are in grades 8 to 12th grade in different project areas, anything from public speaking to driving a tractor. And the kids work for about a month, and then they go compete at the state level and represent Iberia Parish. And the kids have opportunities to win trips and even cash. So we're very excited about that. Our kids have also done well on scholarships and also records. So we're really excited about the 4-H program. Another project club I failed to mention was our science, engineering, and technology program club that meets. And these are all offered to our 4-H clubs are fourth graders to 12th graders. So we're still open enrollment all year. So if you have a child that might be interested in the 4-H program, give us a call at the office. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Moving on, school gardens is something that we're trying to do. In the past, our school gardens has been handled through our Southern Ag Center agent. If you noticed, when we started, we had an LSU Ag Center emblem and a Southern Ag Center emblem. Our Southern Ag Center agent decided he was actually grew up in Mississippi. He came to school here in Louisiana and had an opportunity to take a job back home. And Southern has their chancellor for the Southern Ag Center is new, and with that changeover in administration, they haven't made any decisions on what they call us out in the parishes. They call them field positions. So if you know anybody at Southern with their new administration, and you want to put a call in to let them know that we sure could use our Southern agent back. We shared them amongst 2 other parishes. That agent traditionally has been here 2 days a week, and they worked with our school gardens. And what we found out through the school board and the teachers was that even though we like to consider ourselves somewhat of a rural parish, that kids didn't know, young people didn't know where their vegetables and fruits were coming from. So we tried to show them that, but more importantly, what the teachers were able to do was teach them science and reading and math, because they have to do a lot of journaling. And it's been amazing how, they like to take the fruits and vegetables home and eat it, but they didn't realize how much reading and science and math that they were, even language they were getting in there. So the school gardens have been very good, and it's the schools that call us, we send it out to them, and those that want to volunteer and participate is who's participating. Next, Ms. Mandy. With that, we're going to turn it over to the senior member of our staff, Mr. Tom Email, our fisheries agent. He's going to tell you about all the exciting stuff he has going on.
Thank you very much. I've been working in this area since I was here in 1985, so do the math. Been a long time. I've worked primarily in this portion of the state. My work that I do is in seafood, this whole seafood world, aquaculture. We have a vibrant seafood economy here in this part of the state and across the state, and I work to bring technology to that sector. I'm the director of the Louisiana Fisheries Forward Program, a partnership with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and also with, I'm also the director of the Louisiana Direct Seafood Program. So I coordinate activities of development of microprocessing, new brands, those kinds of things across the state. We do fishermen education meetings. We are the #1 seafood state in the lower 48. And so here we have a lot of things going on. It's like the new world in seafood. The old guys are kind of disappearing. There's a whole new young group coming in and doing different things. We've developed some specialty products that you can buy around here, our Vermilion-based wheat brand, those kind of things, catfish, a lot of things going on. We pioneer here in our local area that have been expanded statewide. So things that we do here, all the development that has happened in Delcom with the pavilion, the farmers market, the new grocery store in Delcom, all those kinds of things happened as a partnership with the Port of Delcom and the university. So it's just been a beautiful story of what goes. You can see the market here we have in Delcom. It's just incredible what happens. If you haven't been there, you need to go see that. So in Delcom, we have some of the largest shrimp processing plants in the Gulf of Mexico. It's an incredible industry where a product is hauled in from all across the Gulf of Mexico that's processed in our town. Lots of jobs, lots of money, lots going on. And so we are evolving to be able to compete in the world seafood economy. We're doing it right here in Louisiana. And the partnership that we have with the university, with the management agencies, with industry is really what makes it all happen. We're right in the mix with it, and we're proud to be here. I'm proud to work with our industry here in Iberia Parish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Again, to summarize, our mission is to help the people of Louisiana improve their lives through an educational process which uses research-based knowledge focused on issues and needs. And I want to mention before we go that while we know things are tough here in Iberia Parish and budgets are a concern, between the fisheries and the agriculture, that is a positive part of our economy. And hopefully you are aware now who we are. We hear all the time that we're the best kept secret. Don't be afraid to call us. In your packet, I put my business card. Call me, and I'll get you in touch with anybody on the staff, any of our folks we have out at the research stations, any of the specialists we have out at the state office. And secondly, or next, I'd like to thank the staff. we're actually closed this week. But I asked them, when would y'all want to come? When it looked like things are going to be settled down, they said, if you can get us on December 28th, we'll come even though we're off. And thank Miss Christie, we did a workshop last night, even though we were off. A little bit of sad news, I found out today that we had a former 4-H member at Dunbar. If y'all remember Coach Dunbar in Delcom, his grandson passed away. I think he was 24 years old this morning. He was a former 4-H member, cancer. And you know, we hear about those when they're 4-H alum. And on a positive note, I'd like to end with that I know things are tough and things seem to be down, but we all appreciate working here. We appreciate the support we have, the MOU we have with you, the Memorandum of Understanding. We're here to provide the services that you want us to provide for the citizens of Iberia Parish. We're going to keep doing that. We thank you for the office support, the actual office we get and all the other support we get. And because of your continued support of us, there's only a few jobs in the whole LSU system that are announced right now, but one of them is here in Iberia Parish. So if you know anybody who's looking for a job with a college degree that wants to be a 4-H agent, tell them to go online, lsuagcenter.net. They have till January 9th to put in their application, and we will be hopefully hiring the beginning of February, March. Maybe I'll come and introduce a new 4-H agent to you all, but thank you. Appreciate the time.
Is there any questions for Mr. Hebert or any of the staff here tonight? Well, Blair, look, on behalf of not only the council but the agriculture community, I'd like to thank you and your staff for what y'all do. It's so vastly important to the industry. It's essential to our industry, the services you provide, and not only to agriculture, but to the youth of this community, and educating them what we do and how we do it is so important. So thanks again from us and from the farming community.
Thank you.
Moving along, reports, finance, administrative action. There is none. Reports on the parish and other governmental agencies. Reports by the project engineer on various ongoing projects, including grant-funded projects, all in accordance with Resolution 2013-49. That was included in your packets. Public Works report. Public Works Department reports for closed works orders dated November 28th, December 2nd, 2016, and December 5th through 9th, 2016. Those were included in your packets. Special business, there is none. Council member announcement. Does any council member like to make any announcement at this time? Mr. Gashasan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to thank the residents of District 5 for an opportunity and an honor to serve here. I've had a lot of personal growth with a lot of you, most of the council. It's been a privilege to work with you guys. 1 year down, and I can tell you, looking out, looking in, I didn't think this job would be as hard as it is, but I'm learning every day and willing to learn more. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a pleasure to work with the parish president and your administration. So thank you, and I'll look for another prosperous year.
Anyone else? On that note, I'd also like to echo Mr. Gashasan's statement. It's been a pleasure serving as chairman, working with each and every one of y'all. I think we've been through some tough times, been through some good times, and we've worked together with the administration, and I think we're better off from where we started, and we're going to continue moving this parish forward in whatever way we can. And also on a second note, if I get this right, January 2nd is the inauguration of the new January 3rd. Thank you, Larry. January 3rd is the inauguration of the new elected officials, city council, mayor. So if anyone feels to attend, please support our city council, because I think the future is bright between the parish council and the city is working together on issues. It's at 3 p.m. Yeah. Anyone else? Parish president announcements?
Just a few. December 21st, the State Office of Community Development Disaster Recovery Unit visit and audited the Delcom Elevation Project Grant. It went well. We had no exceptions. We went up to Delcom and visited the store, and everything went well. The annual bids for office supplies, sign material, road material, treated lumber, hot mix, cold mix, janitorial supplies, all of that stuff was awarded, just to make you aware of that. Also, engineer Wayne LaBeach, we have bid advertisement for tomorrow for the Northside Road Bridge Canal, at Channel M11 project. And that's going to be opened on January the 26th. And that's it for announcements.
Mr. Richard, complete? Thank you, sir. Public comments on ordinance and resolution. Need a motion to go to public comment? Move Mr. Landry,
Second.
second by Mr. Gassan. Roll call. That motion carries. We're now in public comment session. Anyone that would like to make any comment on any resolution that's on the agenda tonight, please step up to the podium, state your name for the record, and the ordinance number you're discussing.
Good evening. My name is Jermaine Como. I am on the agenda to request that you continue to allow me to serve on the Iberia Parish Tourist Commission. I'm currently at the at-large position. I've been on the council, on the commission for 2.5 years. I filled an unexpired term in 2014. And I'm currently serving as chairman of the commission. And I would love to continue to serve. I did email each council member a week ago with a letter telling about my qualifications and why I would like to continue to serve. If you have a minute, please look over that in your packet. I love Iberia Parish, and I really feel that in order to improve our economy, tourism is one aspect that we can really work on to bring people in and improve our economy. So I ask for your consideration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else would like to speak on any ordinance that will be voted on tonight? Hearing none, have a motion to close? Move Mr. Gassan, second by Mr. Landry. Roll call. That motion, thank you, Mr. Napier. Passes. Summary number 243, ordinance introduced by public hearing. Summary number 4813, introduced by Paul Landry, District 7, an ordinance regulating the construction and installation, maintenance, improvements, alteration, and operations of all mobile homes and manufactured home subdivisions within Iberia Parish. Got a motion? And a second? Second, Ms. Strahan, discussion. Mr. Landry?
Guys, you know, we had gotten together a couple times and we were working on this, and I really thought it would come a little quicker than it is, but we hitting a couple bumps, or maybe not hitting bumps. We're just being pretty thorough about going through things. And we had a meeting with Morty, Natalie, Warren, and Eugene with John Raines and planning and zoning, and we're moving along pretty good, but it's bigger than I thought it would be. So what I'm going to ask is that we go ahead and table this for the probably the first meeting in February. Natalie, do you think that's enough time? Okay. Yeah, I did talk to John Raines, and the notes he sent us, we would go ahead and next week schedule another meeting.
So you're requesting a table to February?
Yeah.
February
first meeting in
February, which would be, get those dates, because the meeting schedule's changing now with the new ordinance we passed, so I would be waiting on the clerk when we get that number, the date correct. February 8th. So Mr. Landry, second motion, but before we vote on it, Mr. Landry has requested not only from the chair, but for the council, any amendments that we make to the ordinance, and once y'all conclude them, I know there's a small group that'll meet, and kind of maybe email them out so we can review them.
We will.
And
We
so,
will.
because I know we're talking
Yeah.
about roadsides and some things that we need to just.
And we've talked to some people that have mobile homes. I mean,
Sure.
this is very open.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And, because
I think it's something we definitely need in the parish, so let's get
And
that.
I think we'll probably have a public hearing for,
Okay.
all the people to come.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions? Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 238, introduced by the clerk of the council, resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Communication District representing an at-large position for a 4-year term to fill vacancies created by the expiration of a term for former Mr. Jared Landry, whose term expired January 14, 2017. Applications of interest on file from A, Jared Landry, and B, Frank Stokes. If y'all need a motion?
Frank withdrawn.
Oh, a note is Mr. Frank Stokes has withdrawn his name at this time. So just need a motion and a second to accept Mr. Landry.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Mrs. Broussard, second by Mr. Trahan. Roll call. That motion carries, and Mr. Landry is appointed to the the Communication District. Summary number 239, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing Mr. Darren Bork
Oh, yeah.
to the Iberia Parish Communication District, representing Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department for a 4-year term to fill the vacancy created by expiration of the term of Mr. Darren Bork, whose terms expired January 14, 2017.
Move.
Move, Mr. Trahan.
Second.
Second by Ms. Broussard. Roll call. That motion carries. Mr. Darren Bork is appointed to the Communication District. Summary number 240, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing Mr. Jerome Buddy Smith to the Iberia Parish Communication District, representing the New Iberia Fire Department for a 4-year term to fill the vacancies created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Jerome Buddy Smith, whose term expires March 10th, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Dugas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Paul Landry. Roll call. And motion carries. Mr. Jerome Buddy Smith is appointed to the Communication District. Summary number 241, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing Dr. Timothy A. Viator to the Iberia Parish Mosquito Abatement District, representing the medical community for a 3-year term to fulfill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Timothy A. Viator, whose term expires January 25th, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Tommy Landry. Second by Mr. Paul Landry. Roll call. That motion carries, and Dr. Timothy Viator is appointed to the Mosquito Abatement District. Summary number 242, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing Mr. Willie Polite to the Iberia Parish Mosquito Abatement District, representing the labor community for a 3-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of a term for Mr. Willie Polite, whose term expired January 25th, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Brown.
Second.
Second by Mr. Macharan. Roll call. That motion carries. Mr. Pooley is appointed to the Mosquito Abatement District. I missed that one. Mr. Macharan was Mr. Trahan. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Yeah, both.
At least, bro, you giving them something now.
Summary number 242, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. A resolution appointing Mr. Frederick T. Williams to the Iberia Parish Mosquito Abatement District, representing the accounting community for a 3-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of a term of Mr. Frederick T. Williams, whose term expires January 25th, 2017.
Move for discussion.
I need a motion. Got a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Broussard. Discussion. Mr. Landry.
Guys, I know this is going to end up being a little different, but I served on the sewer board with Mr. Ted. And I just think that, first of all, I don't know how him and the accounting community come together. And what I'm going to ask y'all is that we go ahead and we table this one for another month. And I'll go look for somebody in the accounting community. You know, I've talked to y'all about how hard I feel it is to put the right people on these boards. All of the problems we get is because we maybe don't have the right people. And he'll stay on there and serve until we appoint somebody else. So that would be my suggestion, is we table it until the...
Mr. Landry, I want to honor your request, but I would request that you put it on January 11th committee because the term
That's
expires the 25th. If that's enough time for you?
Well, even if his term expires, he would stay on the board until
Okay.
whatever time.
So you would rather go to February?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so,
plenty of time.
okay. Mr. Brown?
No. Yeah, I want to just clarify.
Discussion.
I mean, if you don't want him on the board, well, why wouldn't you just vote him down now and they have it, someone else that you reappoint in the committee? That's I'm just asking.
That's a good suggestion, Mr. Marshall.
That's
We
really
can-
what I was gonna
We can
suggest.
change the motion.
We can vote on that after per discussion, and if.
That's fine, I change it.
Okay.
So
He withdraw-
right
he
now,
withdraw- he withdraws his motion to
Right.
table. We're gonna vote on Mr. Frederick T. Williams to be appointed to the Mosquito Abatement District.
all right.
Roll call. That motion fails. Summary number 244, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Tourism Commission, representing the at-large position for the 3-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of a term for Ms. Jermaine Como, whose term expires January 31st, 2017. Application of mention on file from A. Jermaine Como and Heidi Parker Martin.
Are both parties?
I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Landry, second by Ms. Paul Landry. Discussion, Ms. Broussard.
Are both parties present?
Are both parties present?
I know
Yes.
Ms. Como spoke, but I didn't know if Ms. Martin wanted to speak or not, but I just wanted to see if both were present.
Mr. Sealy?
Mr. Councilman, before we consider this particular appointment and the next one, I want to talk to you for just a little bit about the Tourism Commission. And unless you've been around as long as I have, you may not know this, but in 1995, the formation of tourism commissions changed dramatically as a result of a decision of the courts that came out of Washington Parish that basically declared the hotel motel taxes that existed at that time unconstitutional because they had not been voted by the people. As a result, the legislature came back in 1995 and recreated, for lack of a better term, the tourism commissions that existed at that time, made them state political subdivisions, no longer political subdivisions of the local governments of the parishes in which they operated. The state statute also provides for 7 members, and you have your ordinance. Your ordinance and state statute is not consistent. And it's not consistent in these ways. It does say that 7 members. Your ordinance also says 7 members. State statute, however, says that those members are to be nominated by the various nonprofit groups within the parish. Your ordinance names several of those, good ones, I might add, but it creates 2 at-large positions, and there's no such thing as an at-large position in the state statute. And I wanted to bring you that to your attention because you may want to consider tabling these until I don't believe that these terms expire until January the 31st, if I'm not mistaken. You may want to consider tabling it, redoing your ordinance to be consistent with state statute, and then making those appointments at maybe at the last meeting in January. You may not be able to do that. Let's see, Brenda, could we get everything advertised soon enough? But you could certainly do it in your first meeting in February. Just a suggestion. Again, the state statute says those organizations make nominations to you, and you either choose to accept those nominations or reject those nominations. It doesn't call for a selection process like you have currently in place and like you have for other boards and commissions. Just wanted to make you aware of that, make that suggestion to you.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, so an interested candidate that would like to serve on the Tourist Commission has to solicit a nonprofit to make a nomination for them? Or is that correct in this?
Yes. It basically says unless provided otherwise in any local, special, or general law for a particular commission, and there is no local special law involving the Iberia Parish Tourism Commission, appointments shall be made from lists of nominees submitted to the governing authority or authorities by private, nonprofit groups that have an interest in one or more aspects of the tourism industry. Your particular ordinance provides that one director shall come from the major tourist attractions, good one. One from the restaurant community, good one. One from the lodging community, again, another excellent one. A director to be nominated by the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce. I think they would fit within that group. One director shall be nominated by a nonprofit association of the events community of Iberia Parish. And then it says 2 directors shall be appointed by the council at large in accordance with state statute. That's where the conflict arises because there are no at-large positions in the state statute.
Mr. Napier?
So if I'm understanding you right, should we take away the at-large positions? That's
why
what the state says.
I was suggesting that you come back and that you amend your ordinance
To
and
match.
where you have the 2 at-large positions, consider either selecting additional private nonprofits who are, have a major influence in the tourism industry, or either some that currently in your ordinance maybe increase their members to two instead of one.
Because one of these is an at-large.
Right, one is an
Right,
at-large, but also have to remember is that the way it's supposed to take place, again, this is not as to every board of commission, only the tourism
Only the
commission.
tourist commission,
That,
okay.
that a nomination list should be made to you, and then you get to choose
Choose
whether you want
from
to
that.
accept that nomination. You can reject it, you have to go back and find somebody else that fits within your.
So it should come from not the nominee, but the. I got you.
Ms. Napier, I think it brings up a good point that I don't think at least I don't think we're interested in reducing the number. I think we want to find a home for the new at-large position, but we
Absolutely.
have to put another different title on it.
Okay, right?
That's what I would think.
Okay.
You're absolutely correct, plus have those entities make nominations to
right.
you.
That's what they got.
Rather than you solicit.
Then you, okay.
What are the wishes of this council?
I mean, I'll
I'm
make a
gonna
motion
table.
that we table it.
Second. He just said you can't do it, so why would you table it? That's just me. I mean, you have to come back, we have to ratify, right, and get corrected in state law, and then we come back
Well-
and then we reissue who's ever been nominated, correct?
Well, we got it, you want to delete it? I mean, you
Yeah,
got to
right,
do
because
something
they're-
about
yeah,
it.
You can't table, you have to delete this item off the agenda, come back, recorrect the ordinance, and put it back on the next
That's
committee.
how I understood it.
That's how you have to.
Yeah, because they won't be at large.
Is
That's
that
right.
what you want?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we delete.
Okay, got it.
Summary number 244, 245.
Got a motion
Thank you,
by
Mr.
Ms. Napier to delete, and a second by Mr. Paul Landry to delete summary number 245.
244 and 245.
244, and I'm gonna take a separate motion on 244. Roll call on 244. Oh, okay, 1 minute. Summary number 245, introduced by the clerk of the council, resolution appointing one member of the Iberia Parish Tourism Commission representing the Iberia Parish events community for a 3-year term to fulfill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Gail Garcia, whose term expires January 31st, 2017. Move. Your motion?
Motion to delete.
No, wait. Motion?
For
Move for
discussion.
Move for discussion.
Second.
This one's a little bit different because this one is from the events community. So this is not at large.
Right, the question that I have there is, was that nomination made by the events community, or was it solicited by Iberia Parish government? And I don't know the answer.
Okay, but we have the tourist commission here. Ms. Fran, would you step up to the mic, please? Could you get to the podium? State your name.
Fran Thibodeau, Iberia Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Gail represents the events community on the board. She plans events for the Jeanerette Museum and in Jeanerette, so she's part of the events community. That's how she got that position.
Is that?
And the lodging community, usually someone within one of the hotels will nominate someone in the general public to represent them. Is that okay, Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Yeah. So is Gail okay to be considered tonight?
Yeah, if she comes as a nominee from that particular entity, then.
All right. Ms. Broussard?
Ms. Thibodeau, my question to you is that we have 2 applications, Ms. Gail Garcia and Ms. Loretta Broussard. So has the Iberia Parish Events Committee nominated both of them for us to choose from?
There is no Iberia Parish Events Committee.
Community.
That-
There's no Iberia Parish Events Community.
Well, yeah,
So
we
there's
have
been no
an
nomination.
Iberia Parish events community. We have many events in Iberia Parish, and that's the community. The lodging community is all of the hotels and B&Bs and campgrounds. The restaurant community is all of the restaurants.
So can you tell me who, out of these 2 individuals, who did the Iberia Parish Events community nominate? Or did they not nominate anyone as of yet?
No, Gail she's part of the events community, and she was appointed by you
I
at some
think
point.
the confusion is normally if,
There's no committee, Ms. Broussard, or
right, But if the lodging community nominates someone, only one name comes to us, and we
Right.
either say yay or nay. It's
Well-
not that two names comes before us.
Well, anyone in the general public that's affiliated with an event can submit an application. Is that not correct, Mr. Shealy?
The state statute says that appointments shall be made from lists of nominees submitted to the governing authority or authorities by, here's where your problem runs in, private, nonprofit groups that have an interest in one or more aspects of the tourism industry. In many places, the Restaurant Association has formed themselves as a private nonprofit. The events community have formed themselves as a private nonprofit corporation. I'm just wanting to make certain that we follow the state statute on how those nominations take place.
So it's still better for us to delete this tonight until we get it cleaned up and clarified
Yes.
and do it right.
Okay, I got Ms. Fran.
Okay. To Mr. Shealy's point, there is no lodging association in Iberia Parish. There is no restaurant association in Iberia Parish. No events association in Iberia Parish. So a few years back, I'm not exactly certain when, that was, the council at the time changed your ordinance from lodging association to lodging community, from restaurant association to restaurant community. And I assume that was in an effort to, well, because we didn't have an official association for each sector. I guess is why that was done by a previous council. So I understand exactly, Mr. Shealy's point, and I agree that it should be addressed by the council. And it gives us an opportunity for you to receive some recommendations from the Tourist Commission, some nonprofits that you may want to consider to give you, nominations. Like we have the Iberia Chamber of Commerce that appoints or submits a name. Sometimes it's only one name, though. We're a small community. It's not like, Baton Rouge or Shreveport, a large community that has these associations and they get several names submitted. So we're just trying to work with what we have. But I think we could come up with some nonprofits that you may want to approach to nominate people.
Okay.
Like, for instance, the Generate Chamber, the Port of Delcom, to get some representation from the municipalities.
Mr. Seeley, I got you. Mr. Seeley?
Councilor, that's why, if this is deleted, that will give us a period of time for not only the council, but for Ms. Thibodeau, as she's sitting there racking her brain, beginning to think of other entities that might be appropriate. That way we can come up with those entities that match up with state law that also fits within the special circumstances of Iberia Parish.
One more thing. While I'm here, I just soon get all these questions answered. Mr. Shealy, would it be appropriate for the Tourist Commission to have a discussion about this with an Iberia council member, the parish president? Is that appropriate?
Sure. I mean, I just want to create a group that meets, that fits with state statute, that's all.
I think what's going to ultimately happen, Ms. Fran, and I appreciate your effort because this is just a housekeeping, cleaning up ordinance, really. It's nothing against tourists. I think what's going to happen is Mr. Seeley is going to draft the ordinance,
Right.
and you're going to fill in the blanks of which community you want to nominate a position. I think that's what the thought.
Well,
was.
I'm going to make a
Yeah,
suggestion.
you're
I
gonna make a
wouldn't fill in the
suggestion, right,
blanks.
right.
Yeah.
Which committees are going to appoint.
Right.
So, and don't forget about the Sugarcane Festival Association. That's going to be a good one, too.
Well, that one came to mind.
So,
Yeah.
I
Mr.
would
Bryan?
like for Ms. Thibodeau, as well as any council members that have any ideas about potential groups, let us know and we'll put them all in the sack and whatever it takes to get.
Mr. Shealy, I guess Ms. Ms. Como and Ms. Garcia would stay on the commission until this is...
That is correct. They would continue in their terms until such times as their replacements are made,
Okay.
which gives continuity to the.
Right, so I didn't
person.
want them to lose that
Yeah.
position, 2 people, until we got this straight.
Mr. But I just think that, further discussion with Mr. Sealy, Administration Council, so we can get this ironed out and get this done as soon as we can. We don't want to let it drag out
Yeah.
too much.
Another meeting for January.
Yeah. Mr. Trowell, you had a request to speak?
Nope, she's
Okay.
gonna take care of it.
Any-
She's gonna call.
Any other, Ms. Broussard?
I move to delete.
Got a motion to
245.
delete? Second by Mr. Landry, 245 for deletion. Roll call. That motion carries. Thank y'all for the pertinent discussion. Summary number 246, introduced by the clerk of the council. Resolution appointing Mr. Fred Wesley to the Robert E. Green Memorial Building Board for a 5-year term to fulfill the vacancy created by the expiration of a term of Mr. Rufus Russell, whose term expires February 28, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Tommy Pollard. Second by Mr. Paul Landry. Roll call. That motion carries. Mr. Fred Wesley is appointed to the Robert E. Green Memorial Building Board. Summary number 247, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution appointing 1 member to the New Iberia Veterans Memorial Building Board for a 5-year term to fill vacancy created by the expiration of term of Mr. Joseph C. Abear, whose term expires February 27th. Applications of interest on file are from A. Joseph C. Abear, B. Alice Robichaud. Need a motion?
Move.
Move, Ms.
Second.
Broussard. Second by Mr. Napier. Are any of the 2 candidates present tonight? Alice Robichaud and Joseph Abear? Hearing none. You have your voting ballots in front of you with your district number. Please select the name and pass it down. Hey, you count it. On this side. On this side. I can't do it. I can't. You can count. They want to make you work for it. 1 second, we'll get a tally here shortly. Mr. Gosh is saying intentions of folding the paper
Secret
10
ballot.
times. Secret ballot.
It's still called out.
He makes life so complicated. District 1, Joseph Abear. District 3, Joseph Abear. District 4, Abear. District 5, Robichaud. District 6, Robichaud. District 7, Robichaud. District 8, Abear. District 9, Abear. District 11, Abear. District 12, Abear. District 13, Robichaud. District 14, Robichaud. Mr. Abear is selected to the veterans, Ms. Abear has 7, Ms. Robichaud has 5. We'll have to revote.
Oh, it didn't
8
pass?
votes. So revote on your selection, please.
Mr. Gosselin, 1 vote.
Thank you, sir. My clerk will be appreciative of it.
1 vote. It might be a plus when you do 4 votes.
I say you do what you want.
You sure about this time?
Thank you, sir. Oh, wait. Oh, 14, I'm sorry, 14. She did. I know.
Yeah, Ricky, don't make it complicated.
Now you gotta put 14 on the top. Thank you, ma'am. District 1, Abear. District 3, number 2? Okay, 2, Abear. District 3, Abear. District,
Wait, you said 2 Bear.
yeah, I know,
Two
I
is
said
absent.
2 is absent, 3, Abear. District 4, Abear. District 5, Robichaux. District 6, Robichaux. District 7, Robichaux. District 8, Abear. District 9, Abear. District 11, Abear. District 12, Abear. District 13, Robichaux. District 14, Abear.
Okay, she got it.
Mr. Abear receives 8 votes. Ms. Robichaux 4. Mr. Abear is selected to the Veterans Memorial Building Commission. And 2 absent. Roll call.
Roll call.
We did? Oh, no vote. That's right, I'm sorry. Summary number 248, a resolution appointing Patrick Broussard, Iberia Parish Levy Hurricane Conservation District, representing Iberia Parish for the 4-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of a term of Mr. Patrick Broussard, whose term expires July 1st, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Marty Trahan, second by Mr. Joel Dugas. Roll call. Cleared up. That's good. And motion carries. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Summary number 249, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Mr. Ronald Gonsalas to the Iberia Parish Levy Hurricane and Conservation District, representing Iberia Parish for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Ronald Gonsalas, whose term expires July 1st, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Napier, second by Mr. Trahan. For the record, I will be abstaining from this vote. Ken. Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 250, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution appointing Mr. James Stein to the Iberia Parish Levy Hurricane and Conservation District, representing Iberia Parish for a 4-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. James Stein, who expires July 1st, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Napier. Second by Mr. Paul Landry. Roll call. And motion carries. Summary number 251, introduced by Eugene Olivier Senior, District 10, a resolution of condolence to the family of Mrs. Rita Morio Thibodeau, mother of Iberia Parish Clerk of the Court Mike Thibodeau, who passed away on December 8, 2016.
Move.
Unanimous second.
Got a unanimous second? Roll call. And motion carries. Summary number 252, introduced by Ricky Gonsalas, District 8, a resolution in recognition and congratulation of Ms. Verna Doucette, Senior Account Technician, upon her retirement.
Move.
Unanimous
Ms. Broussard.
second.
Got a unanimous second? Roll call. Congratulations, Ms. Doucette, for several years well served. Summary number 253, introduced by Marty Trahan, District 13, a resolution authorizing a permanent change in the polling place location of District 13, Precinct 3, the Coastal Shriners Organization Hall to Jefferson Island Elementary School, effective immediately.
Move.
Moving Mr. Trahan.
Second.
Second by Brian.
Second by Mr. Napier. Discussion?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that he explain. I mean,
Please.
I'm not-
No, the commissioners, this is the second time they'd wanted change where the Shriners are at.
Okay.
And I talked to the Shriners and they're okay with it. I talked to Mark McDonald and all of them and they're okay with it to go.
Will people be notified of it?
Yes,
Okay.
the Register of Voters is gonna send out, and I
Hello.
checked with Mildred and,
Okay.
with the state to make sure everything was in line, and
Okay.
this is all we needed to do.
Okay.
They're gonna do the rest, mail out the cards and everything.
Cool.
Okay, any other discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Trahan.
Roll call. And motion carries. Summary number 254, introduced by Natalie Broussard, District 6, a resolution amending resolution number 216-103, which implemented a temporary moratorium on the development, establishment, and/or construction of mobile home parks and mobile home subdivisions in order to change the effective date from December 31st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017.
Move.
Moved by Ms. Broussard. Second by Mr. Landry. Discussion?
One point of discussion.
Ms. Broussard?
It's not to change the effective date, it's to change the termination date
Of the moratorium.
of the moratorium. It's not gonna terminate December 31st, 2016. It'll terminate June 30th, 2017, unless we have the ordinance passed prior to then, and then the moratorium would cease at the same time of the new ordinance goes into effect.
Good enough. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gasser, sir.
Ms. Broussard, just a question for you. How we are amending the resolution that was passed by the council without going back to committee? I mean, do we have a process for that? I mean, we gotta be careful on this because this was a resolution that was passed by the council. So we're amending something that was taken action that's not an effective and immediate meeting. If we had an open session meeting, then I could say that it would be different. But this meeting has already passed and it was adopted by the council.
Well, I mean, the whole purpose is public notice, and this was on the agenda, it was publicized. If there was anybody in the public that was out there
Okay.
opposing the extension of the moratorium, then they have the opportunity tonight to come in and state their opposition, and nobody has. So I don't want to get ourselves in the same position that we're in. I'd rather extend the moratorium than have some exposure.
Mr. Seeley?
I think you've already addressed the issue of a moratorium in your committee. If this were a new first blush, I would think that you would have a lot more argument about why it ought to go to committee first, but your committee has already met, your committee's already said, as a committee, we want a moratorium until we can get our ordinance in place. I think this is consistent with what your committee has already acted upon, which I think is the difference between, and you're right, you want to be careful that you're not bringing things directly to the council that you didn't go to committee on first, but I think this one's a little bit different because of the fact that you've already been to your committee, you've already discussed at length the issue of the moratorium, and as she indicated, that, you know, it was advertised, it's on your agenda, everyone has.
I'm just questioning because the fact is now this has been done. So, and I'm not, and look, I'm gonna support it, and I support the moratorium expansion. The problem that I have is a resolution, amending a resolution that has been previously passed, and that, that meeting, the only time you can amend something that's been done or revisit is within that meeting, okay? So I'm just saying, this could be a tactic that can come down the road, and so I'm fine with it. Go ahead.
You finished?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call. That motion carries. Napier, Mr. Napier, please participate. Thank you. That's two tonight.
I'm off my game tonight.
Summary number 255, introduced by Warren P. Gossett Jr., District 5, a resolution of condolence to the family of Mrs. Ura R. Terrebonne, grandmother of Iberia Parish Councilman Chad Matran, who passed away December 19, 2019.
Moved.
Moved by
Unanimous second.
Mr. Matran, second. Unanimous second by Mrs. Broussard. Roll call. Mr. Chad, would you like to say something?
Thanks for the condolences. Mr. Richard, he came over that night, and I've had some phone calls from some of y'all. I appreciate the support. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Our condolences to you and your family, Mr. Matran.
Thanks.
And motion carries. Summary number 256, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution correcting the current term and appointments. Appointing Chad Kutois of Iberia Economic Development Authority Board representing District 1 through District 7 for a 3-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Chad C. Kutois, whose term expired September 31st, 2016.
Moved.
All is nominated by Iberia Parish Industrial Foundation.
Moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Garcia, second by Ms. Broussard. Discussion? Roll call. Motion carries. Summary number 257, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution correcting the current term and appointment one member to the Iberia Economic Development Authority Board representing District 10 through 12 for a 3-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. John F. Belafontaine, whose term expires September 31st, 2016. All is nominated by Iberia Parish Industrial Development Foundation.
Move.
Moved by Ms.
Second.
Broussard, second by Mr. Montreal. Discussion, I got a question though. He's just been appointed to the indigency
Right.
board and this,
Indigent-
and this,
Indigent Defender
indigent board and this one.
Can he serve?
Can he serve too? He can.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanna make sure.
Good question, Rick.
Any other? Roll call.
Good man.
That motion carries. We'll move to the expansion.
Good man.
Just wanted to clarify, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Gonsalas, excuse me.
Mr. Sealy?
Before you go to the expansion, I want to make a comment, and I'm a little reluctant to do this, but I want to be sure that we're correct. With respect to summary numbers 248, 249, and 250. I think those positions may actually be gubernatorial appointments, and I believe that you make nominations to the governor.
That's right.
And the reason I say that is because, and I see Mr. Stein here, we got a letter a while back from the governor's office, basically indicating that they made those appointments. I just want to, I guess, reserve the right, if we need to change the wording in that resolution to, that we make a recommendation, if that's what the law provides, that we make a recommendation. If the law says that we get the appointment, that's fine, but I just wanted to make sure we
Okay,
were
so
covered.
for the record, if the council chooses to do so, let the DA to change the wording to recommendation if the law provides for recommendation. Without any objection?
Absolutely.
Mr. Dugas.
Which summaries were you talking about?
The three summaries that relate to the levy board.
The levies, hurricane.
248, 249.
All right, so that clears that up. Thank you, Mr. Sealy, for pointing that out. Okay, we do have an expansion. Discuss and consider a motion to expand the agenda to discuss and consider summary number 258, which is a resolution amending 2016 Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission and the 2016 fund budgets in amount of, to provide funding for operational expenditures of the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission, with said operation transfers to be repaid upon receipt of the State Visitor Enterprise Fund. The purpose of this expansion is to provide for the transfer of funding in order to process the outstanding expenditures through December 31st, 2016. I need a motion to go in public hearing.
Move.
Move by Mr. Landry.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pollard. Roll call. Motion carries. Need a motion to go in public comment?
Move.
No, we need public comment. Is anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this resolution? Please step up to the podium, state your name for the record. Hearing none,
Move to regular session.
we need a motion to go to regular session. Mr. Gaston, second.
Second.
By Mr. Francis, roll call. That motion carries. Need a motion to expand the agenda.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Tommy Landry,
Second.
second by Mr. Marty Trahan. Roll call. That motion fails.
Move to adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Landry.